You react too fast. Someone cuts you off in traffic, and your hand's already on the horn. Screaming alone in your car. A message at work irritates you, and you fire back a response in seconds, then regret it later. How many times have you exploded, felt that tightness in your chest, and then thought, why did I do that? Here's the truth that hurts. Every time you react in the heat of anger, you lose. You lose control, you lose respect, you lose clarity. And worse, you train your brain to repeat this pattern. Anger isn't the problem. The problem is thinking you need to act on it immediately. If someone filmed your moments of anger, you'd see a person you don't recognize, making decisions at the calm you would never make. In this video, you're going to learn an ancient technique that warriors use to transform fury into power. Conscious silence. This isn't about swallowing anger or pretending everything's fine. It's about creating space between the trigger and the response. It's about gaining precious seconds that change everything. You'll discover why reacting fast is reacting weak, and how silence gives you back the control you lost. Let me tell you an ancient lesson that changed how warriors face not just enemies, but themselves. A young warrior trained for years to master the blade. He was fast, technical, strong, but he had a problem. He got heated easily. All it took was someone doubting him, challenging him, or even looking at him wrong, and his blood would rise. He'd charge forward without thinking. In the dojo, this was tolerated. Outside of it, it was dangerous. One day, during training, another student provoked him with a simple phrase, almost harmless. The young warrior felt the heat rise from his chest to his head. His hands trembled. He lunged forward. The master, who was watching in silence, said nothing. He just raised his hand, paused everything. The young warrior expected a scolding, but the master only asked, "Did you win just now?" The warrior didn't understand. "I didn't even start," he answered. "Exactly," said the master, "and you've already lost, because whoever controls your anger controls you." The young warrior spent days thinking about this. He realized that every time he reacted fast, he gave away his power. The anger wasn't his. It belonged to the other person. And the hardest lesson, it didn't matter how many techniques he mastered if he couldn't master his own internal storm. Now look at your life. How many times have you acted in anger and then thought, it shouldn't have been like that? How many conversations have you ruined? How many doors have you closed? How many nights have you lost sleep because you exploded and couldn't take it back? The uncomfortable truth is this. Your brain was designed to react quickly in situations of real danger. Threat, flight, fight. But in the modern world, most threats aren't physical. It's someone contradicting you, ignoring you, disrespecting you. And your brain treats everything as if it were life or death. The anger triggers. The adrenaline rises. And you act as if you need to defend yourself right now. Except you don't. What seems urgent rarely is. And here's the cruel trick. Reacting gives you immediate relief. You release the pressure. But 10 minutes later, you're full of regret. Because anger is a terrible counselor. It distorts, exaggerates, simplifies. It makes you seem right for 2 seconds and wrong for a long time. Have you ever noticed that the decisions you regret most were made in heat? This isn't a lack of self-control. It's a pattern, and patterns can be reprogrammed. The ancient masters understood something simple. Between the stimulus and the response, there's a space. In that space lives your power. Reacting fast is reacting on autopilot. Reacting with silence is choosing. The silence technique isn't about shutting your mouth. It's about pausing your mind. It's about giving yourself the time you need to step out of the body on fire and return to conscious command. One master used to say, still water reflects perfectly. Agitated water only shows blurs. When you're angry, you're the agitated water. You don't see clearly. You don't think clearly. You don't act clearly. Silence is what calms the surface. And only when the surface is calm can you see with clarity. This isn't weakness. It's pure strength. Because anyone can shout, hit, explode. Few can stay quiet in the middle of the storm. The rule is simple. Before speaking, before acting, breathe and wait. 3 breaths, 10 seconds, 1 minute. Whatever time is necessary for the fire to lower. Because the anger will pass. It always passes. And when it passes, you'll still be there. The question is, which version of you will remain? Now comes the method, and it's simpler than it seems, but it needs to be practiced, not just understood. The protocol is divided into 3 parts that you apply every time you feel anger rising. First, small size. You don't need to become a monk or meditate for an hour. You just need to recognize the trigger. Felt the anger? Name it mentally. It can be just one word. Anger. This simple act of naming already creates distance. You go from I am this to I'm feeling this. Seems silly, but it's powerful because naming is observing, and observing is the first step of control. Second component, fixed trigger. Every time you feel your chest tighten, your hands shake, your voice rise, activate the silence. It's not when you feel like it. It's always, even if it's just closing your mouth for 5 seconds before responding. Even if it's just breathing deep before sending that message. The trigger is physical. Felt it, paused. This is the training. Because the brain learns through repetition, not through intention. Third, continuity rule. You're going to fail. You're going to explode again. You're going to react fast and regret it. That's not failure. It's part of the path. The rule is, no matter how many times you fall, you return to the method at the next trigger. No guilt, no drama. Just return. Imagine a blade being sharpened. Each pass on the stone is a small adjustment. You don't see change on the first, second, 5th pass. But after 100, the blade cuts paper in the air. Each time you pause instead of reacting, you're sharpening. Each conscious breath is a pass on the stone, and the blade gets sharper without you noticing. Now a real example. A man worked in a tense environment. Demanding boss, tight deadlines, constant pressure. He exploded easily, responded to emails with anger, argued in meetings, slammed doors. He knew this was burning bridges, but he couldn't stop until he decided to test a method. His rule was simple. Felt anger, wait 10 seconds before speaking. That's it. At first, it seemed impossible. He felt the impulse, the urge to let everything out, but he breathed. He counted 10 seconds. And something interesting happened. Half the time, after the 10 seconds, he realized it wasn't even worth it. The anger had already lowered enough for him to see it was nonsense. The other half, he still responded, but with more control. Less aggressive, more objective. One day, the boss sent an email that would have made him explode before. Harsh criticism, dry tone. He felt the anger, but he applied the pause. He waited, he breathed, and he realized the boss was stressed. It wasn't personal. He responded calmly, straight to the point. Later, the boss even apologized for tone. That had never happened before. And you know why? Because when you don't feed the fire, it goes out on its own, and the people around you notice. They start to respect you more because you're no longer predictable. You're no longer the one who explodes. You're the one who breathes, thinks, and acts. The change didn't come from one big moment. It came from dozens of small pauses. Now it's on you. Today, the next time someone or something gets under your skin, test this. Breathe deep, count to 5, and wait. Just wait. See what happens. See if the anger continues with the same force. See if you still want to say what you were going to say. I bet you won't. And if you apply this today, drop it in the comments. What was the result? Were you able to pause? Subscribe to the channel if you want more techniques like this, practical and direct. And like the video to strengthen this community of people who are choosing control instead of reaction. Anger isn't your enemy. It's a signal that something matters to you, that something touched you. But acting on anger is throwing away the power you have. Reacting fast is reacting weak. Reacting with silence is reacting with precision. Every second you wait is a second you gain back control. It's not about never feeling anger. It's about deciding what to do with it. Remember the young warrior? He returned to the master weeks later. He told him he still felt anger, but now he waited, and the master smiled. He said, "Good, because a warrior who never feels fear isn't brave. He's foolish." The warrior who feels it and still chooses with clarity, that one is strong. Anger will appear again, tomorrow, next week, next month. And when it appears, you'll have two choices: be agitated water or still water. You choose, and the choice repeats until it becomes who you are. Here's the minimum challenge for today. The next time you feel anger, stop, just for 5 seconds. Breathe, observe, and see what changes. It doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to start. If this video made sense, share it with someone who also needs to hear this. See you in the next one.